somewhere along the line, we we started putting people into categories based on what they wear and what they do for a living. Blue collar, white collar, redneck. Like you can sum someone up in one word. And the crazy part, most people don't even know that those labels where they came from. Because blue collar, it was it was never meant to define a person. It it just started as a shirt. Like let's just rewind, let's go back. The early 1900s, around the 1920s, guys working with their hands, machinists, welders, mechanics, laborers, they wore blue shirts, denim, chambray, heavy cotton, and they didn't wear it because it looked super cool. They wore it because it worked. You're cutting steel, welding, grinding, hauling. You're getting covered in grease, dirt, oil, metal, and blue hides it. Simple. That's it. That's where it came from. There there was not a deeper meaning. There was no judgment hierarchy. It was just a practical solution for real work. But then something changed. On the other side, you had the white collar, clean shirts, offices, desks. No grease, no dirt, no busted knuckles. There was no there was nothing to hide. And over time, those descriptions, they turned into identities. Blue collar, it became the guy in the shop, the guy in the field, the guy that's doing the hard work. White collar became the office, the decision maker, the successful one. Now, let that hit for a second, because that's where the line got drawn. Not by the work, but by the perception of what it is. Then, once all that existed, we started building boxes. And you get the blue collar, you're tough, you work with your hands, you're probably not educated. White collar, you're smart, you work with your mind, you've made it. Then you go off throwing more labels into it, like redneck, rough, unpolished. And even that one, it didn't start how people think. Back in the early 1900s, coal miners, farmers, laborers, working long days out in the sun, their necks would get sunburned, red. And they got that from work. And in some places, it meant even more. Workers, they wore red bandanas as a sign that they stood together, fighting for better conditions, better pay, better lives. Some kind of say it's almost the start of where unions came from, as a banding together for better lives. But over time, that got twisted too. It it turned into an insult, a stereotype, another box to be putting people in. Funny how that works, isn't it? A word that came from hard work was then meant to tear down the people that was doing the hard work. And the problem isn't just how people see others, it's how people started seeing themselves. You put someone in a box long enough, they start living inside of it. But look at it today. You've got guys in the trades, running machines worth more than houses, programming CNCs, diagnosing systems, solving real problems in real time. You've got maintenance guys keeping facilities alive. When something when something breaks, they don't panic, they figure it out. That's not low skill. That's high level thinking under pressure. And I've seen that firsthand. I'd worked with this guy named Scott. He was a mold maker that turned CNC machinist, and he understood metal on a level that he understood on a people that he understood it on a level that most people don't even know exists. He knew how it would move when you would cut it, how it would react when you'd pull it out of the vise, how heat would change it, how to compensate for it before it even happened. He was insane with long parts, talking holding 1.5 thousandths over like 50 inches on aluminum of all things, keep it flat and straight. That's not normal. That's mastery. But you look at the guy driving a 90s Toyota pickup, barely ran. He would literally start this thing in reverse and used the starter to roll it backwards. Don't know why he did that, but that was just Scott. But he's also the guy who could have walked into the car lot and bought a brand new truck in cash. He didn't care what other people thought of him. He's happy. But one day we had to clear out the auger on one of the CNC mills, and a lot of guys, walk around talking about it all day, how we're gonna do this. So then Scott, he just takes his dirty camo jacket, the one that he always wore so he didn't get dirty while he was in the shop. He cuts the back of it out, like his jacket looked like a pair of assless chaps afterwards. And he took that back he cut out, he shoved it down the auger and turned it on, ran that thing through a couple times, and it worked. He cleared it. He solved the problem. But also, Scott being Scott, he continued to wear the jacket like nothing ever happened. That's the smartest guy in the room. The guy that people wouldn't have expected much from. Someone that would get a label put on them. But they did that before they understood what he can actually do. But when things go sideways, when something's on fire, that's the guy that you call. Not because of the title, but because of the skill that he has. And at the same time, you got people in offices managing operations, running companies, keeping things organized. Both matter, both take a skill, but the labels is still stuck in the past. Still shaping how people see each other, even though the reality has completely changed. So here here's the truth. Blue collar, white collar, redneck, those were never meant to define people. They were just descriptions. But somewhere along the line, we gave them meaning that they were never supposed to have. And when we let them decide what people are worth, but at the end of the day, when something breaks, when systems fail, when the world needs to keep moving, it's not the shirt. It's not the title. It's what can you do? What can you build? What can you fix? What can you figure out when things go wrong? That's what actually matters. Not what you're called, but what you're capable of. And maybe it's time we stop putting people in boxes based on a shirt. Based on a shirt that was never meant to define us.